I am recording now. So again, this is our first of two webinars for the Digital Opportunity Grant. So again, we're going to have those two Q&As. The first one will be specific to the application and in the eCivus portal and whatnot. And then the second Q&A will again be, any other questions you have about that digital grant. And again, what I was saying is you can raise your hand and speak, but if you would not like to, you can always ask your question in the chat, and I will read those questions as they come in. If for some reason we do not get to your question today, we will put together a Word document and we'll be posting that on our website, which is what I put in our chat here. This is our digital opportunity webpage on the Indiana Broadband Office's website. This will be where you'll find our FAQs, our guidance document, some steps of how to go about getting in to apply to the grant, and really any other updates that we have moving forward. I know most of you are probably on our newsletter that we send out a lot. I know this week we just sent one out this morning to remind you about this webinar, but that's kind of where you'll find a lot of the things that we'll be talking about today and overall about the grant. After this webinar, I will be sending not only the attendees the slide deck and this recording, but I'll also be sending them a link to the website. And again, just keep up to date with that website, and you'll see all of our updates about the grant that we'll be providing. Again, this is our first webinar. We have a second one June 5th. So look out for that invite. It'll be covering the same with David, and then in everything with the program overview, but we wanted to offer two. So without further ado, let's get the ball rolling. First up, I'd like to introduce David Schilling. David, again, is the Grants Management Analyst of the Indiana State Budget Agency. He's going to spend some time talking you through the application itself. And again, after he's finished, we will have that first Q&A specifically about the application. And then again, any other questions we have, we'll save to the end of the presentation after my slide deck I go through. We will go back to some other questions. So without further ado, David, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to hand it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Devin. And hello, everybody. Thanks for attending today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the website, as Devin mentioned, and then we're actually going to go through the eCivus portal and go through this application process so you guys can see what it looked like. My biggest take is that hopefully at the end of the presentation today, y'all go, okay, that wasn't as bad as it sounded. This is really pretty straightforward and very easy for you guys to use. So let me go ahead and share my screen because you're already probably sick of seeing me. And hopefully you should see the state budget website here. Okay, you guys, that's why I love starting here. So we have lots of great resources that we developed on the SBA website for you guys to be able to understand this process and have everything that you need to help you get through that. So the easiest way to navigate through the SBA website, and again, it's super easy to find. It's just www.in.gov/SBA, or you can always just Google Indiana State Budget Agency. There's just one of us. Yeah, easy to find. But when you're here, the easiest way to get around is this menu button up here in the top left corner. I kind of like to consider that the steering wheel of the website. And here we have lots of great resources, with SBA. But the main thing we're going to be looking at is grants management. That's where we've developed a whole section dedicated to just helping people with grants, whether they're federal or state grants. We actually have resources here for Devin and her team at IoT to build these applications. They use the eCivus Grants Network side of things to build these applications. And then you guys are going to be what we call subrecipients or applicants. Okay, that's the terminology that you're going to hear me use and the terminology that eCivus uses and the user guides for anyone that's receiving money from the state, whether that came from a federal program or a state program. If you're receiving money from the state, the terminology we use is subrecipient. So as you see here under Grants Management, we have lots of great resources, but the real thing that you guys want to zone in on is these resources for subrecipients, okay? Again, this is what we consider you guys to be as an applicant, soon to be subrecipient, not if, but when you get awarded those grants. So what we did is we built a one one page where you can find all the information that you're going to need for this. Okay, so if you're applying for the funds, here we have all this information to walk you through how you can apply for this. How do I set up my eCivis portal? What is the eCivis portal? How can I set that up? So we have user guides, which are awesome. You open one up here real quick. They're going to help you walk you through the entire process. So whether it's reviewing the solicitation, beginning the application process, setting up your eCivis account, and things of that nature, we have a user guide that you can follow to walk you through it. And why I love these user guides is they actually are screenshot captures of exactly what you're going to see. This is exactly what that solicitation is going to look like. This is exactly what this eCivis portal is going to look like. So when you need to go to the eCivis portal to create your account, maybe you haven't created your account yet, it'll walk you through the process. And creating your account there is super easy. Basically, click on create an account. It'll ask you to verify your email, and ta-da, congratulations, you have an eCivis portal account. Okay, these accounts are free. You can create as many accounts as you need to help you with your agency as you're managing your grant. Now, during the application process, just one person from your agency will be submitting the application and accepting the award. But during the award portion of it, you'll be able to actually build a team to help you manage that. So let's go back here to this, the resources for subrecipients, okay? Again, the one-stop shop that you guys need for getting through this process. And why I like to call it the one-stop shop is because we have user guides that I just showed you, long detailed ones with screen captures to walk you through it. We have quick reference sheets, which are a page or two, little outline things, steps you to follow so that you know you're doing each portion of that. And then we have very short training videos. These aren't the hour-long videos. These are a minute or two long, showing you the specific details that you need to learn just to accomplish that task. So whether you're applying for a funding, award management, not if, but when you get that grant, when you get that award, you're going to manage that in the same portal that you use for submitting your application, this eCivis portal. And again, we have user guides to walk you through it. We have training videos. So when you need to submit your financial reports or things of that nature, it's really easy, and we have all this information right here to walk you through it, all the way through closeout itself too. And then on their support material, we have all the information listed here, plus we have our frequently asked questions. So anytime you want to review things, I wonder if people have been tripped up by this before, our frequently asked questions, we keep updating that with all the information you need. So let's look at how we can apply for this funding. Not only do we have the steps here for you to be able to follow the processes, we have the grant opportunities themselves. One-stop shop, resources for subrecipients here, okay? So here's where you're actually going to find the solicitation for you to be able to apply for it. And that's important for a couple of different reasons. Here it is right here, IoT broadband. Any public state solicitation will be utilizing this page right here, okay? If it's a private one, it's different. You'll be sent a link. But if it's a public solicitation, whether it's IoT, OJA, DVA, any state public solicitation, you'll be able to find right here, okay? And again, why this is so cool is because when I click on this program here for IoT, it's going to bring up all the information about that grant. So right here on the same page, we have the information about this grant. All this information that they put together to help you understand what this grant is all about. Who is eligible for the grant? It's going to list all the eligibility for that. Any of the financials associated with it will be listed here too as well. Here's the big one, the contact information. So if you have questions about, do you need me to upload this document? What do you mean by this specific question? Old David SBA isn't going to know that. But IoT Broadband will, and here's how you can contact their office to find that information. Any files that might be helpful with it, here they have the NOFA associated with it too as well, that you can find right here. So again, this one-stop page has all the information you're going to need. Even if you look under the overview here, okay, scroll a little bit, here's that link to the digital opportunity right here. So and again, see, it's the exact same screen captures for how you can get to the things. They've done a wonderful job putting together this key information for you guys, okay? You need to get the unique identifier and things of that nature. Here are these, the guidance document that you're going to definitely want to refer to, okay? So they've already built the guidance document that you'll need to help you fill out the questions themselves. My job is to actually show you how easy it is to get to that document, how you're going to submit that. And so how we're going to do that, as the user's guide described to you, is we're actually going to click on this apply button, which will take you right to that solicitation. One thing to warn you guys about is if you haven't been to eCivis yet, when you click on apply, boom, it takes you right to the eCivis portal, okay? The portal account is for non-state employees. Remember I talked about how eCivis is used to build these solicitations as well as for you to manage them? Portal account is how you're going to log into that. Now, if you don't have your account created yet, you'll need to click on create an account. It'll walk you through the process of creating your account. Then once you have your account created, you will need to go back to this apply button. So when you click on that, it'll take you to where you can actually apply for the grant. So if you haven't created your account yet, you can always get to the eCivis portal by clicking on apply, and then you'll want to create your account there. Once you have your account created, go back to the solicitation, click on apply, and it'll take you to where you now can enter into the portal and go right to that specific grant. Excuse me. So let's see what that looks like, okay? And again, here's your first decision, okay? Portal or Grants Network. Remember, Grants Network is for state employees. That's on the people who build this. Portal is the terminology that you guys are going to use. That's what you're going to want to click on to get into this application so you can fill out this application. So we'll go to the portal login. And here we are. This is how simple and straightforward it is. As soon as you create your account with eCivis, you'll fill out a profile. This will be your eCivis profile, okay? That's gonna let eCivis know who you are, okay? As you're working on applications, they're simply found under My Applications. As you're working on awards, they'll simply be found under My Awards, okay? But you'll need to click on this Apply button to take you to the portal where you'll see this Create New Application. This is how we get to the application that IoT is built for us. So let's do that. Take a look at it. We click on Create New Application, and now it's going to take me to the actual application package. And why I like to call it a package, you guys, is because it's basically made up of 3 parts, okay? There's going to be a profile, which is the application profile, a questionnaire, which is the longest portion of it, and then there's a budget. We don't want to forget about the budget. And I'm going to express that a couple times because you can see how you can accidentally forget the budget. But now that you guys have been through this training, I'm sure you're going to be fine. So now we click on Create New Application, and it's going to have us log in. You might already be saying to yourself, wait a minute, David, we just logged into eCivis. You did. You logged into the eCivis portal. Now we're logging into the application itself. So by simply clicking on that, we have an opportunity to log into the portal or eCivis. Right, portal. I heard you all shouting it out, right? Remember, portal is for the non-state employees, okay? So we log into the portal using the same email that we use to log into eCivis, okay? That's important there too. So we use the same email address that we use to log into eCivis to now log into the application and click login. Okay, the first thing it's going to do is going to have us create a profile for the application. You might be saying to yourself, wait a minute, Dave, I thought I had a profile. That's the eCivis profile, you guys, okay? That's what eCivis knows who you are. Now we're going to create a profile so that IoT Broadband knows who it is who's submitting this application. So for me to create the profile, I simply click on Open, and it takes me to the application profile. It's already pulled a little bit of information from my profile at eCivis, my name, last name. Anything that's asterisks here, you will need to fill out, okay? So this application type can either be an individual or organization. Fax number is not required, thank goodness, because I don't have a fax. I haven't saw a fax in a long time, to be honest with you. But the address information is required. So we're going to go ahead and fill that out. Organizational information, state budget agencies already pulled that for me. Okay, it has that information for me. Organizational type, in my case, I would be a state government type. Taxpayer number ID, I'll put a nice fake one here, but it is required, so we need to put that in. Do you have a unique identifier? I think this one you will need to get a unique identifier. So when you say yes here, it'll ask for that. If you don't, then you can say no, and it'll allow you to keep going. DUNS number is not required, but if you have one, definitely put it in. Is there additional state identifier? No. If there is, simply just you have to say yes and add that information. Luckily, the rest of this has been filled out for me. Are you the authorized representative of the organization? If I say yes, I'm good to go. If I say no, it's going to ask who is, okay? So it's easy to just get through these things quickly and easily. Are you the business financial contact person? Yes, I'll say that. Or the lead of the person. Again, if I say no, it will give me the opportunity to put in that information. Let's just keep things going here. I'll go ahead and say yes. So now that's how easy it is to fill out the profile. That's the actual profile for the application, okay? So I can save this as a draft. Maybe I need to go back and get that unique identifier or whatever I needed to. I can always save that as a draft, go to my applications, and then I'll be able to continue working or hit create profile. And as soon as I hit create profile, bingo, it tells me now your profile has been completed. I can always go back and edit that profile anytime that I need to, okay? Now, one thing is, I think that this application you can submit multiple times. So if you're submitting from multiple places, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to submit multiple ones, but you're only going to have one profile for your organization. So the next time I go to submit another application, I won't have to fill out the profile again. That profile has already identified me. So you can have one profile for multiple submissions of the application. But we have our profile continued. Remember, Dave talked about those 3 parts that make up the whole questionnaire packet. Is our profile, which we just completed. Now we're going to complete the questionnaire portion of that. Here's the questionnaire portion of that. And if I scroll down, here's where my budget is. Okay, that's make sure that we have all 3 parts. We completed our profile right there. Here's where we're going to go to be able to get into the application. And then here's our budget information. And we know we haven't filled out the budget yet because there's no title. We're not asking for any money. Same thing with our questionnaire portion of it. There's no title to it. It's untitled. But for me to get to the questionnaire, eCivis even helps you out and lets you know your profile's been completed. That part's done. Part 1's done. Now we need part 2. And it tells you if the status bar is blue, there's something to do. It rhymes. If it's blue, there's an action required, okay? If it's red, there's an error. Actually, I've never saw one red. But if it's gray, that means you've already submitted your application. There's nothing left for you to do. It'll say under review, meaning you've submitted it to the agency. But it's blue. We know we got something to do, which is going to be the questionnaire part of that. So let's click on that to open up the application process. Here it's going to tell you how many days you have remaining to fill out your application, okay? And you see the submit button is grayed out. I cannot submit it yet. All I've done is filled out my profile. I still have to do the profile, the questionnaire, and then the budget. Don't forget about the budget portion. It's down there. And so sometimes it's easy to miss depending on what kind of monitor size you're working with and things of that nature. Just remember the 3 parts: profile, questionnaire, and budget. So let's take a look at the profile. And it's simply easy to open it simply by clicking on the open button for getting to my application itself. And here is the actual application, you guys, okay? One thing I want to show you too while I'm here is see this little arrow up here, the little button next to the arrow or applications that looks nothing like a print icon. That's the print icon, okay? That's where you can actually print the form, you can save the form, you can make it to a PDF, do whatever you need to with that, okay? But it's important because once we actually submit it, you won't be able to go back and print this. So currently. So if you want to, make sure you save a copy of it, print a copy of it after you completed it. So if somebody needs it, they can always go back and get that. But that's how you actually print the application itself, is that little button up there that looks nothing like a print icon. And I've actually asked eCivis a couple times, can you change that to a print icon? So when you guys see it changing that, you can thank Dave for that one, okay? Okay, you guys. So here's our application, and this is how easy it is to fill it out, okay? It's a bit of an extensive one, but again, my job here is to show you guys how to get to this and the questions that you're going to face, okay? We're not going to answer today specifics about the application. You can always submit those to IoT, and that way they can answer those things to everyone through their FAQ, which we showed you guys how to get to. So for application title, it's going to be David. Now, again, you might want to, especially if you're submitting multiple ones, maybe for different counties, give it a unique identifier. So this would be like David and Marion, okay? Organizational name, in this case, would be like SBA. But again, I'm here to really show you guys the types of questions you're going to face. And just to let you know that, okay, that wasn't too difficult. I mean, as you already saw, it's easy to get into this application, super easy to create your portal account. It's free. And these are the questions you're going to see. So here is any type of, Indiana Secretary of State number, 5. Indiana bidder registration number, 12. I don't know what it is. But again, these are the different questions that you'll see. Are you applying as a member of the partnership? You need to say yes or no. So if you say yes, it'll ask you to upload a file specifically for that. If you say no, it'll allow you to go to the next area. here providing organizational information. Again, if you have questions about what to put into this box, old Dave's not going to know that. If you have questions about how to get to this box or how to fill out this type of field, please ask me and I'll give you my contact information so I can walk you through it. But here, you're just going to put in the information that's being required from you, okay? And again, if you have questions about what to put into this box, that's where Devin and her group from IoT can help you out. So here we're just putting in the information we need to let them know about this or technical assistance. Select a file, okay? I'm sure you guys are used to seeing this kind of stuff where you can just hit select file. It'll take you to an area where you can have any of your files that you're working with for this. Here I have some IoT broadband stuff, so I can, grab any of the files that I need from that and actually drop it right into here, okay? That's how these file uploads work. There's going to be a couple different files that you're going to need to upload. Provide a description of the project and the goals associated with it. Simply select file. Here's my project goals. Okay, upload that file into it. What is the duration in months? You can put in that information. Again, more upload files for a deadline for that. Here's some timelines for this one. Potential risk associated with that. I'm going to select that file. I have that set up. So as you see, there's going to be a lot of files you're going to need to set up before you're able to upload this. But you can always get working on it and save it as a draft, okay? Again, just different examples of type of questions you're going to answer. It's going to be either a radio button. Here's another one where you're just going to be selecting a different radio button from that, okay? Select the primary digital outcome for your project. Here's a drop down. So, again, things you probably are very familiar with. We would like to say at SPA that if you've used Amazon, you can handle using this, and it's a lot cheaper than Amazon, okay? So if you've done Amazon shopping, online surveys, I don't think you guys will be put out by how you answer these questions. Simple and easy, okay? It's just radio buttons. If you say yes, it might ask for another one. If you say no, it'll continue on, okay? So again, anything that you guys see here should be able to answer these things quickly, or not quickly and easily, but quickly be able to get to the information that you need for this. Again, these are just text box. These where I'm just dropping in the information that I need to get through here because they are required, okay? So again, it's probably going to take you guys a lot longer figuring out how to answer these questions than they are for you to be able to find this interface, understand what it means by answering these questions, by simply filling out these things here will allow me to get to the next step. So that's why I need to complete these because as you see, they are required, right? So we want to get through these things. And again, nothing I don't think is going to really throw you guys off for how do I, what are they asking for here? Okay. A lot of detailed information for what to answer here. Okay. And again, if you need assistance for what to put into this box, that's when you reach out to the granting agency, IoT in this case, Broadband. If you need assistance how to get here, or you can't remember how to get to the questionnaire part, oh, please feel free to ask me those types of questions. Those are the ones I'm good at, okay? Now, here's a budget narrative, okay? This is important because you're going to want to see as we do the budget, we're going to be entering money into categories. So here you're going to select that budget narrative that's going to describe why you're entering those types of amounts, okay? Here you're going to enter specific amounts for things, total budget cost, things of that nature. Again, if you have questions about what to put in there, seek granting agency. If you have questions about how to get to that, then please feel free to ask me how to get to those things. Again, another file we need to upload. I think that one might be required, so I'm going to make sure I upload a file for that. Again, here's the information that you add to these fields to make sure you take care of those requirements. Any additional information, you're going to want to add those ones to it too as well. So you see a very, very detailed questionnaire for this. There's lots that you'll need to do for this, okay? So I think I have most of these covered now. I certify all this to be correct. Again, radio buttons, file uploads, things of that nature. Here's that CD 511 certificate and how you can even go download it. But that is required. So we know we want to add that. There it is right there. So again, what's nice about this is you can always save this as a draft and come back to it. I certify all this to be true. Okay. Okay. Not too bad. But again, hopefully you guys saw that, what I'm demonstrating for how to get to it, how you're going to answer those questions, whether text boxes or radio buttons. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? So we're going to go ahead and mark this again. I can always say this as a draft because there's a lot of information you need there, a lot of uploads. You might need to save that, come back to it. It'll save right where you are. You don't have to rebuild the wheel from scratch. You can always save this, consult others with your team, figure out the information you need till you're happy with it. Then when you're happy with it, we're going to mark it as complete. So when I mark it as complete, it's going to take me, boom, right back to my main page here, and my submit button's all lit up. I'm ready to go. Oh, not quite yet. Remember, guys, 3 parts. Remember Crazy Dave talked about those 3 parts. The profile, which we completed, okay? The application, which we just completed, okay? So don't get all happy when you see that submit button light up, because let's scroll down and look at my budget, okay? Remember, I gave this a unique identifier. This is David's Marion County application. It has a unique identifier. Remember before my box said NA? So now when I look at my budget down here, sure enough, there's no title to it. I haven't put any money into it yet, so I know I haven't completed my budget. So that's why it's really important to make sure that you guys complete the budget portion of this, because once you submit it, it's going to stop. You will not have edit anymore. You won't be able to go back and edit. It'll say view, okay? You're going to lose all your editing capabilities, including your budget, which means you sent the application over and didn't ask for any money. You didn't complete the budget. You need to do that. If you do make a mistake, maybe that submit button was just too intense for you. You had to click on it after you did your application. What you need to do is contact your state granting agency. If they deem that it's okay, what they can do is revert this back to a draft so you can finish it completely and then resubmit it. But it's another good reason, you guys, don't wait to the last minute, okay? Because if the time is expired, it's a whole different thing, okay? If there's time still remaining, it's up to the state granting agency. If they deem it, they want to, it's not difficult for them to resort it back to a draft so you complete it. Once the clock is done ticking, it's a whole different story. So good reason why I should make sure that you don't do like my children and do it at the last minute, okay? But again, 3 parts. The profile, we completed that, remember? The application, we just completed that. That's when that submit button lit up. But we were smart enough to realize, wait a minute, Dave said something about a budget. Let me scroll down. Yeah, sure enough, we didn't do that. So let's do the budget. Simple and easy. See this little actions guy, the hamburger pancake stack over there? By clicking on that will allow me to now edit my budget. And it'll take me to the budget portion of the application. And here it is, okay? Here's where we're going to add the information for the actual budget that we're going to be requesting. So we have these different categories. So personnel. If we want to put in the price for the personnel, you see I can't type into this field right here. What I want to do is click on the personnel budget so that I can do the personnel that way, okay? So for the personnel, maybe I have a direct cost of, we'll say $1,000 that we need for personnel, okay? That's how you're going to enter the information into these categories here. Fringe benefits, travel, equipment. Maybe there's equipment that you need to answer. So here I can go for equipment. So maybe for the first one, we'll say that there's, say, $500 worth of regular equipment. But say maybe I have software equipment that I need to add too. What I can do is add a row. The title here will be equipment. Oops, if I could type correctly under pressure. I can't. Equipment, description, software. And then for the software, I'm spending another $250. Again, it could be anything. Maybe you have another one for equipment. And this is going to be something for labor or whatever, any kind of extras, anything that you need, you know. Again, as you see the gist of it, you can always create anything you need for these categories, whether it's supplies, construction. There's other ones associated to that too. Here, then, you would definitely want to use this description for other, okay? So you maybe have other costs, and this is going to be for transportation or something of that nature, okay? So there's another cost associated with that. So it's $350. But what it'll do then, it'll add up all those different costs for you. So you see right here, it'll add up everything from this category. So you know that exactly right now you're asking for $2,300. Again, that's just made up, you guys, okay? But I just want to show you how you can enter this budget information, okay? And that's where you do that by clicking on the actual title, which enables you to put into the direct cost, or you can add rows like I did here under equipment, so I could break it down to add that. But speaking of the breakdown, remember we uploaded that budget narrative during the questionnaire portion of that. That's why that was important, to explain why you're going to be adding these dollar amounts into these different categories. There's also a narrative budget here, so you can put a further explanation about why you entered that information. Or you can just quote, see my uploaded budget narrative, something of that nature. But if there's anything else that you want to include in the budget, specifically with the budget, this is where it gives the opportunity to do that, okay? There's not an upload function in this. The upload function for that budget narrative is in the questionnaire, if you're wondering where that's going to go. So now we think we've got everything done. It looks really good. We've got our budget information filled out in the categories. We know exactly how much you're asking for. We're letting them know we uploaded the budget narrative, or there's extra information right here we want to associate with that. So now we'll just simply click Save Changes. Now, here's the note that you can send to the person reviewing the budget. Maybe if there's questions about the budget, those should be directed to David, because maybe David wasn't the one who's going to be uploading the application, but David did the budget. So for questions, get David. Here's his cool fake Hollywood phone number for how to reach David. Whatever information you need the reviewer to know specific about the budget, this is where you can add that. And hit Save. And it's going to take me right back to my budget, or excuse me, it's going to take me right back to my home page. Oops, now that I saved it, I return to my application, and it takes me right back to where now I can actually submit my application. And this is where I want to make sure you guys cover those 3 steps, and you make sure you've completed everything, okay? Now it's going to ask you to actually sign back in because you've completed everything. So now that you completed everything, we need to sign back into it so we can either submit it or go back and work on it if we save it as a draft. Portal or eCivis? Portal, right, exactly. Remember, eCivis is for state people. Portal is for applicants. Portal login, use the same login that you've used the whole time, okay? Logging into the portal, and that's going to take me right back to, look, there's my profile, okay? That was part 1. Is it completed? Yes, it's completed. I can still edit it. I have not submitted this yet, so if I want to go back and edit my profile, I can do that. Remember before this was NA, now it's David Marion County. It's blue, there's something to do. That's how I'm going to get to that submit button, okay? So I click on the application process. Bingo, there's my submit button all lit up. My application, it tells me it's been completed. Again, I can always go back and edit that because I have not submitted it yet, okay? So I can always go back and edit it, but I want to make sure, did we do the budget? Scroll down, look at the budget now. David Marion, now it's named. Remember before it was not named. And we have the full amount that we're asking for. I can always go back and edit that if I need to because I haven't submitted it. But as soon as I submit this, it's going to say view budget. It's going to say view application. It will no longer allow you to submit those, okay? So all I need to do now is simply submit this application, and it's going to shoot it over to the state granting agency. You're done. This box here will turn gray, the application one. Will be gray, and it won't allow you to submit this anymore. It's not gray. This is going to say view, okay? So it's going to lock everything down, okay? So now I know I've did the 3 parts, the profile, the application itself, and I went down and looked, my budget's filled out, so I'm good to go. So as soon as I hit submit, everything gets locked out. That'll be gray, that'll be view, and you'll no longer be able to update that. It's going to shoot it all over to state granting agency. This is a live environment, so to make Devin and their guys' life a little easier, I'm not going to submit that over to those guys so they have to mess up or mess with a demo account. But that's it, you guys. That's how easy it is to do that. And what I want to show you here is under this user guide, everything I just talked about. I know I talked about an awful lot. Is covered in this user guide with screen captures showing you exactly what I did step by step through the whole process. For creative, there's my profile I needed to do, okay? There's my application budget. It walks you through the whole process. So I know I covered a lot. So please remember to come back to the resources for subrecipients. And I got that from the State Budget Agency under Grants Management. I got to my resources for subrecipients. Applying for funding is where I have my user guides. I'm applying for funding. Here's where I found my state grant opportunity. Don't forget too that under the broadband one, when I open that up, they have a link to that right here that'll take you to where you can get that reference URL to walk you through that process and find any guidance that you're going to need. So between all the hard work that IoT did building this guidance document to walk you through all that, all the resources that the state has built for you to be able to apply for these and find these opportunities, hopefully you guys should feel very comforting that, wow, okay, eCivis portal sounds scary. Sounds like something from Star Trek almost, but it's not. It's like ordering off of Amazon, just cheaper. If you ever need to reach out to SBA, that menu button, that steering wheel down here under Contact Us is the grants management team. Here, you remember your non-state employee portal people? Portal people, I like that. It's kind of funny. Here, you can always submit a question to SBA. We'll be reviewed by our team. We can get back to you as soon as we can, okay? So I know I talked about it an awful lot, so let me pause and see if you guys have any questions that you might have about the SBA website, the eCivis portal itself, or is there anything I can help you guys with?
Yes, well done, David. Are there any questions? If you'd like to come off mute, please do. If not, you can always type something in the chat and I can read the question aloud.
Yes, is a 501c designation by the feds required in order to be an eligible organization to submit an application either independently or with a group?
I'm going to refer you guys to IoT on that one. Yeah, if they want to answer it during this time period, again, this is a public solicitation. So I think, some specifics might be answered in more of a public environment. But again, I'll defer to Devin and her group.
Yeah, we
Yes.
might, go ahead.
I was going to say we are getting ready to go over another presentation that is going to go over eligible entities and provide a resource for you to check to see if your organization is eligible to apply.
Thank you.
Perfect. David, there is a question in the chat. Are there character limits in eCivis for any section of the application?
Not really. Is that if there ever is, there's lots of opportunities where you can upload those files with additional information that was smart of IoT to put there. But I think most time when you're reviewing the questions that you have sufficient area, even if it's a small area, like if it's a smaller box, you can still put all the information you need to in that. So you should be just fine. But it's a great question.
Perfect. Anyone else have any questions for David specifically? Okay, where do you register for the state bidder ID and vendor ID? I can put that in the chat, Sarah.
Cool. Thank you. I did not know that.
Okay, anyone else? David, what a great presentation. That was so great. We really appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry if I went a little bit long. I tend to get a little winded with the eCivis stuff. But
No,
yeah,
no. It was perfect.
My big hope is that you guys are alleviated, that it's not that hard. It's not, it's not very complicated.
We have one more question. Glenn, let's go ahead and move that to the next Q&A, just because that's kind of more of a broad question. Anything else for David? Yes, Jennifer, this will be recorded and I will be sending it to the recipients. I'm sorry, it is being recorded right now. And I apologize that I didn't ask for permission before I hit record. If anybody has any problems with that, just reach out to me individually. But yes, it is recorded and I will be sending it after this meeting and it'll be up on our website.
Devin, there is a question about limitations on file size for uploads.
Oh, great.
Okay, so I didn't see that. Yes. For file size limitations, you guys shouldn't run into it. Normally it's about 40 megabytes per file, I think is kind of the quasi one that they've done. So if you do run into a case where there's something huge, you might have to break that up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. David, thank you so much again for sharing all of this and walking us through this. We
Sure.
are going, okay, thank you, David. We're going to move forward with a short presentation from myself. Okay, hope everyone can see my screen. All right, now it's time for my presentation on the Digital Opportunity Grant. Again, we just wanted to remind you that this is the first of 2 webinars we'll be hosting. The other will be on June 5th. And we really are trying to host these webinars to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to receive the same information. We will be sending out that invite in June at a later date, but let's go ahead and get started. As many of you most likely know or have heard about, the BEAD program, which is the Broadband Equity and Access Deployment Program, works to expand infrastructure. But these additional funds we're talking about today are from the Digital Opportunity Grant, which will help to address other barriers to digital participation. These funds will complement BEAD infrastructure development and ultimately move us closer to greater connectivity and opportunity across the state of Indiana. As you know, there are many challenges to broadband deployment and adoption in Indiana, including what you see here: rural access, rural area access, affordability, and digital literacy. For rural area access, again, BEAD funding will play a large part in expanding access, but this will take time, and local solutions are still needed to address more critical needs. With affordability, even where broadband is available, low-income residents often cannot afford the cost of service or necessary devices for meaningful internet use. In some areas, limited provider options can drive higher broadband costs and reduce the quality of service. Investing in affordability and free or low-cost device programs can help empower communities with tools that get them online and closer to the economic and social advantages of technology. And digital literacy. There's quite a gap here. This has an impact on many citizens in our state, including our veterans, seniors, and those in rural areas. Many Hoosiers lack the skills needed to effectively use the internet, but apprehension to new technologies can be addressed with training and expansion of literacy resources. At the IBO, we have found that many libraries, community centers, other trusted hubs are already facilitating much of this work across the state. In fact, my first month in this job, we traveled across the state and met a lot of lovely people who are already helping facilitate this. With this grant, we hope to see many of these challenges addressed. My next slide is about the examples of potential programs and activities that the NTIA expects to see. The NTIA is the National Telecommunications and Information Administration, and they have published several examples within the Notice of Opportunity Funding, or the NOFO that we call it, of potential programs, activities, and interventions they expect to see with this grant. This list is not considered exhaustive, but should give you an idea of what they are looking for. For more context on this list, you'll be going to the NOFO on pages 34 and 35. And again, the NOFO is on our website on that digital opportunity page, again, along with all the FAQs and guidance document and everything else that you might need. I know there's a couple questions in the chat. I will get to those soon. Okay, so some eligible entities. As you can see, there's plenty here. But I wanted to remind you that you can find all this information again on our Indiana Broadband Office Digital Opportunity webpage, and our NOFO is located there, and you'll be able to actually go in here and into our guidance document to find out these eligible entities. You see the eligible entities here are welcome to apply to this grant. I'm not going to go line by line, but you'll see there are quite a few. Please refer to the guidance document for more information on those entities. But I do want to mention bullet 5 here, organizations that represent a covered population. What are covered populations? They are persons who are 60 years of age or older, incarcerated individuals, but they are non-federal, veterans, persons with disabilities, members of a racial or ethnic minority group, rural residents, individuals with a language barrier, including those who are English learners or have low literacy levels, individuals living in households with incomes not exceeding 150% of the poverty level. Now, this is the most recent information we have received from the NTIA regarding these 8 covered populations, but you can always find more information and details on page 11 in our guidance document, again, on that website. So remember, as you guys are starting to apply, you must register for unique entity ID at sam.gov. I say sam.gov. I'm not sure if that's what you actually call it, but sam.gov. It's the System for Award Management. It's a U.S. government website. This process is required for anyone receiving federal grants funding. So you need to register for that first. And as always, please consult our website and subscribe to our newsletter. We will be sending out newsletters quite often, especially up through, well, not only the next webinar, June 5th, but June 13th is the end date, as you all know, to get your application in. So we will continue to be sending newsletters, any kind of updates we have for you. We will be sending those out. Okay, some important dates. As you know, April 30th was when the application opened and will remain open for 45 days. So you have 45 days to apply. It will be closing at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on June 13th. You see, we have the webinar today, May 5th. The next one we have will be June 5th. That is a Thursday, I believe. And then right after the application closes, the IBO will begin the process of review and selection. We do expect to finalize projects by July, and we have to provide a list of all selected projects to that NTIA by August 31st. So I'm going to leave this up just for a minute here so you can see these important dates we've got coming up. And again, I will be sending this out to everybody so you can see, and it'll also be on our website. In total, Indiana expects to be eligible for $25 million in funding. This includes the $15 million allocation right now, as well as 2 more allocations expected to be $5 million each. Each allocation has a separate 5-year implementation period to complete projects and measure performance. The NOFO indicates that there will be an additional $300 million available nationwide, and all rounds of funding are expected to be expended by 2030. I do want to let you know that the Digital Opportunity Team meets with our federal program officer from the NTIA on a weekly basis, and we have not been provided any further information on the funding as of today. Of course, as you know, collaboration is key and can ensure that digital opportunity initiatives remain adaptable and effective in meeting the needs of diverse communities across Indiana. Again, consult our website and subscribe to our newsletter. Check out our digital opportunity plan. And again, you'll see the FAQs, NOFO, and you'll be able to see everything, all the updates and everything else you need to know on our webpage. We do have some application disclaimers here. I did want to go over this slide. In order to maximize the time we have during this next Q&A, which is only a couple minutes, we have just a few things we want you to keep in mind. Please refer to the NOFO and guidance document for example of eligible projects and entities. And as a reminder, now that the application is open, please refer to the guidance document for project-specific inquiries. Each category in the application is described in detail in that guidance document, so please consult that location throughout this process. And with that, we are going to start our Q&A real quick. If you would like to ask a question, again, either raise your hand or I'll call on you, or you can write your question in the chat and I'll read them aloud. I will read your question aloud. Again, if you do not get your question, you do not get to your question today, we will be writing them down and post a document to our website with the answers. Okay, and again, I'll be sending all this to our attendees after this. So let me exit out of this. We are ready for some questions. I know I have one. Looks like we had some questions in the chat. If anyone here is working on closing the digital divide in rural spaces. Oh, that's great. Awesome, Autumn. Can someone insert the link to the website? I have put the website link up above. The FAQ indicates that schools are excluded in a few locations based on its price. Yes, schools are eligible entities, Tim. Erin, will the June 5th webinar be a repeat of this webinar? It'll be the same webinar. We just want to give everybody opportunity to come in and ask questions and go over the application. Let's see. It looks like Latasha and Diane are handling a lot of these questions in the chat. Does anybody want to come off of mute? Does anybody have any questions they want to ask? Sure, Sarah.
Hi, thank you so much. This is really helpful information. I went to the Secretary of State's website to just see where we might need to do the registration for the bidder ID and the registration, but I see that there's several different options. We are moving our business into Indiana to try and compete for this grant. Is it an order, a certificate of existence, or is it to file the business entity itself? I'm not sure which place to go.
I do believe it's going to be to file the business entity itself, but we can always meet with you separately to try to help you get through that.
Okay, can you provide your contact information, Natasha?
Yes, we will. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We do have a question here in the chat. You mentioned collaboration. What are you looking for in terms of partnerships or collaboration? Is that a limiting factor in evaluation? Does anybody want to answer that on our team?
We're looking at partnerships and collaboration in a way of being good stewards of the funds and helping for these projects to be sustainable over time.
And Rebecca, it looks like you got your question answered. Yes, charter schools are eligible. Any other questions? I think, oh, go ahead, Pat. Oh, you're muted, Pat. You might want to come off.
Thanks. Again, this was really helpful information. So I'm just the chain of events once we submit, is the state's going to select the projects it likes. Does it submit those then to NTIA and NTIA has to approve after that, or how does that work?
We will be evaluating projects, and then yes, we do have to, the ones that we select through a scoring process will be submitted to the NTIA by August the 31st, and then they will have to approve projects after that.
Okay, and do we have any idea what that timeline is?
So the application, yes, we have the timelines available in the guidance documents and the FAQs. They let you know what day the application closes and what day we have to have projects submitted to the NTIA as well.
No, I mean after that. So NTIA's approval.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pat, Latasha, I can answer this. Pat, I would just tell you that right now, with the way things have been going with multiple broadband programs, in terms of both receiving NTIA or NIST approval, it's going to be very difficult for us to be able to give you an exact timeline, but we would anticipate it would probably be no more than a month or two after our after our awards or our proposed awards are submitted to the NTIA.
So are you expecting to award still in 2025?
That would be the goal, yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
We have another question, Latasha. How do you define a project? Does it include multiple initiatives? Okay, Latasha, you just responded. Yep, you're going to have to refer to that NOFO.
Diane can
Ron.
provide the page numbers. There is a description of the different types of projects that the NTIA is expecting to receive. We will not be able to tell you yes or no. You will have to use the guidance from the NTIA to determine if your project is fitting into what they are expecting to receive.
And Latasha, I did want to add that, I mean, it's up to you what your project is. I don't know if it would have multiple initiatives or not, but you would just explain to us what your project is and how you are currently working it or how you plan to operate it, if that makes sense.
Sarah, Latasha responded to your question. It can be new or existing. It can be a new or an existing project. Latasha and Diane, there are a good number of covered populations for this program. Will there be any preference weight given to applications that prioritize some versus all of the applications, or that indicate an order of priority?
There's no priority given. However, there will be a little more weight given to those projects that will cover multiple populations. There's no match. Nope, there's no match, and so it wouldn't add to the viability of the project. And also refer to the guidance documents for scoring criteria. You'll see how every section of the application is weighted, so that will answer some questions as well.
Awesome. I know it's 3:02, so it is the end of our webinar. It went by pretty fast. So if you do have any other questions, you can still type them here. I will be sending the recording, the slide deck, and I'll send you the link to our webpage where everything will be posted. Thank you for joining us today. I know on behalf of the Digital Opportunity team, we're very pleased that you joined us. We had great participation and attendance today. So if you'd love to, we'd love for you to come June 5th as well, but it will be the same information given there. We just wanted to offer a second option for people to join and learn about the application and the program. So, okay. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. As always, if you need any more information, if you want to reach out to any of our team members, email indianabroadband@iot.in.gov and we will get you set up. Thank you all.
Thanks, Devin.